Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. Sunday chat today. I was going to say it's going to be a bit different, but it's going to be totally different. I'm not sure I've ever done this to this degree before, but it dawned on me while I was thinking about choosing the plants for the project orchids. You can tell it's occupying my mind at the moment. Lots of people don't know what I've got. And certainly newer people would have only seen the orchids that I've pointed the camera at recently, which is probably just those in bloom. So some people don't really know what the collection consists of. So there's no news today. I haven't been out, I haven't been anywhere, I haven't done anything as such. So what I'm going to try and do today is point the camera at, I'll say virtually because there are some that are going to be too difficult to do, but I can do them from a distance. I'm going to try and point the camera at every single orchid that I've got. Yeah. And do it in a reasonable time scale, so it's going to be quick. These are going to be brief glimpses, nothing more, no detailed descriptions, nothing like that. It's just, and some of them I won't even know the name and I won't be able to get at the label without moving plants, which I don't want to do, otherwise we'll never get it done. So without further ado, I'll get the camera down and we'll start pointing. Right, there will be a bit of faffing around, like moving the hanging racks and turning them around to get at the other sides and things like that, but I'm just going to go around literally a shelf at a time, quickly. So down on this shelf we have Restrepias. We have some larger ones that I've had a very long time and some newer ones and some small ones growing on. I'm not going to go over each one. And then up on this shelf we've got some Miltoniopsis, one of which doesn't look as though it's going to make it, and a couple of others. They're not in good condition, my Miltoniopsis. What have we got here? That is a, don't know. And likewise another, oh, that one's got a tag in it. That's my Pabstia. That's only just going to make it, I think. Over the back there is a Masdevallia, a Dracuvalia to grow on, and that there is my Odontoglossum Golden Rialto. That's recovering quite nicely. That's taken 2 years to even grow a new growth. Right, up on here we've got an assortment. There's an Alisaria, goodness knows what that is, Oncidium type, but that's coming into spike. Over the back there is the Radiata. Then there's my Dendrobium trigonopus there that grew a new growth last year and has stopped growing and done nothing since. And then this is a Latoria type of some sort, I've forgotten. It's actually got a label on it, so I will get to that if I don't break my neck. Wires everywhere. Roy Tokenaga. If that ever blooms, you will be impressed. Now, that's unfortunately my thermostat. I need a thicker bit of wire on there. I'm always knocking that down. Right, sorry about that, faff. We've got my Paphiopedilum, Blackjack. It is growing, but it's not doing much. This was a present from Lynn. This is Latoria type species, Convolutum I think that's called. So a couple of Latoria types at the back there. Then coming along here we've got the species Cherophorum just going out of bloom. We've got my Epidendrum Comet Valley. This is, oh, that's Nellie Isla yellow, just been repotted, that one. This is a Miltonia Summer Glory. This is a mess. This is special. This is an Oncidium. Well, it's an Odontoglossum Anna Claire, bought from a good friend in bloom, and it's pushed on quite a nice new growth since then, and it's growing some roots, and I'm dreading doing it, but it needs repotting because it's in that come on, brain, you do have one in there. Cubes. Roof insulation cubes, I'll get there in a minute. And that is Miltonia's Sunset. That's recovered from Fusarium and is maturing. That is, oh, it says it's Orinthin thingy, but it's not, it's Sotoanum. So that's that shelf. Right, over here we've got a very large growing well black hair type. It's a hybrid, it's got no ID. Two nice new canes here, still growing on through the winter, slowly but surely. And a mature cane at the back that has bloomed. In here we've got our Dendrobium conico, just about recovering after a miserable failure and stopped growing for a while, but it seems to be doing a bit better in a pot. This is a Zygopetalum hybrid, that's the one that has the pale flowers on. This is Dendrobium hibiki, which does currently seem to be surviving. I've not had a lot of luck with them. It's out of bloom at the moment. Down here we've got 3 Coelogenes. This one of them's got a spike somewhere. That's the one at the back. So we've got a spike on one of them, and that's that. That's my Rawdon Jester. And then down on the ground floor is a strange one that's well, you can see what it is. Strange looking thing, that. Right, now I'm going to move on to a hanging rack because it's under my nose basically. This is Dendrobium tortilli, totally dormant at the moment, completely at rest, as is this one, and that is, oh, that's the Primulinum variety Laos. That's that one. This one is probably not going to make it. It's a Cattleya type and it just won't grow. I've tried it in a pot, I've tried it on a mount, I've tried it in the kitchen. Cattleya revipedunculata. It's a Sophronitis type. And then we've got the Mexicoa. That is dormant and resting, quite dry at the moment. And that's how it's going to stay until it moves. This one, this is cold damage. Hopefully we've stopped that now. Let me just put that dead leaf somewhere. But we do have a new growth that is actually growing, and another one up the top. That's my Dendrobium harveyanum. Beautiful flowers on that. This is my only Orengis left now. Oh, it hasn't got a tag on it. It's got a really long name. That's all I'm going to say about that. And as Orengis go, it's very unusual because it has thin, far more flimsier leaves than a lot of them, which tend to look a little like mini Phalaenopsis types. This is I suppose you'd call it a sort of Latoria type, Tetragonum. That seems to be coming on okay. It hasn't grown a new growth for some time. The last one it grew rotted, but it's holding its leaves, so it's putting up with the temperature. And then this is another Latoria type. I planted this in a hope that it would be a pendulous plant, and the next growth it put on, the weight of it did pull it over slightly. And the last one it grew, it said, nope, I'm growing upright. So we've got all sorts on this one. No name on that, but so that's that rack. I will now pull this over here and do the other side because I need it out of my way. Oh, that's the wire from the getting in my way again, as it does. Right, so this side, ding 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 ding, you're getting that one whether you like it or not. That is Dendrobium lindleyi, totally resting, totally dormant, a true winter rester. Next to it is oh, that's a Phyllum. That was a present from Alberto in Italy. Bit of a kiki machine, this one. Not growing very well, objected to being disturbed in the middle of the year, and hasn't really produced a good root system since it was remounted. So I'm hoping that will pull on this year. This is my Hercoglossum, big tangly mess at the moment. It has looked better than that, but basically why it doesn't look so good is it didn't get the new growths that I was expecting. Consequently, there's a bit missing here, which is the nice new growths that grow on sort of through the winter. The previous ones are okay, but they're much longer and they haven't put the weight on yet to hang down. That's that one. And then that's Dendrobium jenkinsii, which is very similar to Lindleyi, but like a smaller cousin of it, if you see what I mean. That was also split up and remounted on this board. Not sure how that's going to do this year, whether we'll get blooms or not. Then there's my blue Vanda on the end of the rack. Right, that's that rack done. We've done that one. Now we'll have to do this one before we move it. This is Dendrobium nesta, and this is the problem I'm having. These are the latest canes. They've stopped growing because the growing tips rotted. So those canes are not going to grow on anymore. They will still bloom, and we will hopefully get some new growths. It's not dead, it's just not doing well. The Kiki, however, is doing very well, and that little one's not doing bad. So that's that. Then there's my Vanda. This is just dropping leaves. I may well have lost it. They're just falling off. This whole plant has just gone. That's a shame. That's a present from Hannah. But I don't think... Are any of these secure? The very top of the plant is okay, but the roots are no good. The only root it grew year before last is distorted and not very good. I'm going to have to do something with that, as yet unknown. Probably cut the top here, take off these woody bits and wrap it in some moss and see if it will grow. But these leaves are okay, so it's not dead. It's not flipping far off though. Right, other side of this rack. This is Cattleya cernua, and it's not doing well, as you can see. That new bloom came out of that new growth and hasn't made it. But there are other new growths. We may get some blooms, but this desperately needs remounting. Desperately. That's that one. This is a Brassivola type. This seems to be doing okay. The new growths are pushing on okay. This is a rescue Cattleya. That's the size the cane should be. That's the two latest growths. Not very happy. What is this one? Make, I think that one is. Yeah. It's a Brassoanthe or something like that. They're messing with the names again. It used to be Brassocattleya, but the Cattleya's changed its name, so it's still got the Brasso bit on it. This is coming into growth. It's very, very slowly recovering, but not gone. This one, another Cattleya type. Have we got a tag on there? Yeah, that's Volcano Trick Orange Fire, and it's an Epicattleya. So epidendrum crossed with a Cattleya. Latest growth, not too bad. Sheath didn't make it, and we have grown some roots recently. That is not worth mentioning. The new growth has failed yet again, so that's go. Well, let's do it now. It's going in the bin. Waiting too long, and then this needs to recover, or it will be a tragic loss. This is my Friedrichianum Hannah. And this is what's happening to a lot of my growths. New growth, leaf out of the top of the growth rotting, and yet this one's okay. So we need new growths and some new roots on that one. It got remounted, it got major disturbance, it moved house. You know, it's had a sad time, and hopefully it will recover this year. And then this one, I've forgotten, this is quite a recent one, no tag. I think that is Dendrobium, I've forgotten. Glomeratum, I believe. But that's latest cane is growing on. It's grown some roots. It's currently not doing much. Right, now over here, this is the bit where it starts getting difficult. That one up the back there is a Brassia. It is Verrucosa sea breeze, I believe. This is my Dendrobium Victoria Regina. Currently not doing much. The last new growth it actually produced isn't. It's a kiki. It's about 1 inch above the pot. Latoria type here, but a special one. That's speciosa or spectabile. Always get those two muddled up. So yeah, one of the cooler growing Latorias. There aren't many. This is probably not going to make it, just looking at those few leaves there. Dendrobium alexandrae, so a species Latoria. Oh, that looks like the cold's got in that. The trouble is with cold damage, it can take a while to show. Right, that's another Brassia. That's the one that was recently repotted. That's Santa Barbara. That needs to go up there with that one, but if I try and do it now, I'll knock plants, so I'm waiting till next time I water. A couple of Berioda kikis, and then all this lot here. This one here is another Latoria type that seems to be growing pretty good, and that is it's Aussie Sweetness crossed with a species, Tapinense, something like that. And then up there we've got one Phalaenopsis type and the rest are Nobile types. So Dendrobium Nobile type is in the mix. Up here we've got, I don't know what. That's not a lot of help. Renaissance Coral. An Oncidium type, obviously. That is Oncidium Honeybee up there, that recent repot and split. Carol had the other one. This monster here is Catatante. This one here is, it's got a long name. It's just coming in. I've just noticed a new growth on it. Brilliant. Oncidium Cheyenne, but I got a feeling that's a trade name. And this is my Oncidium Wildcat Bobcat, which is currently in spike. Right, so now I've got down here. Can I get up? Ooh, just about. Right, I can see a plant that's been knocked. You need to go back upright again. Something like that. The trouble is the bloom spikes get tangled, and they're very, very difficult to untangle when they do that. Right. So that one round the back there that was fallen over with these blooms on is very like tiger tail, but it isn't. So there we go there. This is an Oncidium Shari baby, as is that. So that's these two. They're both the same plant. There's actually 2 plants in here, 2 in there. So there's 4 plants. It was 4 plants in a pot. I split it. This one has just opened its blooms, and that is tiger tail, so Oncidium type. That's that shelf. Down here we've got my 3 big Miltonias. One's a species, a true species, which is, that's this one over here. This one has already had the treatment, as I call it, Reginellii. I'll get there in a minute. What happened to that one was I split all the new growths off, took the back bulbs off and potted it up in such a way that it's got plenty of room to grow across the pot, and you can see the new growth starting down there. These 2 here have got to have the same treatment, and I need to get on with it because the bulbs are starting to desiccate and the plant is drawing out energy from older leaves. So that needs doing, and a lot of that is because the media is going off. It's got that cocoa husk in it and it's going, right? So that's that. This is Tahitian Dancer, this one, and this one is, I've just repotted that one, so you should know what that one is. That's the, it's pronounced, I believe, Garechia, Black Comet. It's one of the new genera that they invented when they split the Cattleyas. They didn't have enough, so they had to split up, make some new ones up. Down here are my Twinkle types, so they're all recovering. They all got ripped off their mounts back in the year, and hopefully they're going to recover now. That is hopefully as well. Right, nearly there. Up the top here are the Cattleya types. This is my red Cattleya that has a new growth with a sheath that may well bloom. no guarantee, and another new growth coming up the middle, so that one's doing okay. The large one behind it just rotted its sheath with its buds in the middle, so that's not going to bloom until it gets a new growth, which hopefully it will. Coming around here, this one with the tatty leaves is my Laelia purpurata that's not doing well. This is my Laelia anceps. We've got 2 spikes on here, and hopefully the buds will progress. And then this is my Ivanagara apple blossom. The latest growth on that should bloom. So that's the Cattleya types up there. Now some of these I'm not going to be able to get at because they all sort of overlap. Now up the back there are, along the window basically, are 3 Cattleya types. That one is recovering, that's coming on, it's grown some roots. That one is also recovering. The one in the middle, its latest new growth doesn't look that good, and it has no other growths and no other leaves, but it does have a few roots starting. It may not make it. That's the only Renanthera that I've got left. The one that I sent to Carol disintegrated, so that didn't make it. This zygo needs a repot. It's got to come out of the cocoa husk. Good time to do it. New growths are starting, and it's just finished blooming. And the big one behind it is, I haven't got a clue. So if you want to refer to that one, you'll have to call it I haven't got a clue, because I haven't. I really don't know what that is. The fact that it's in that pot, no, can't remember, don't know. And then over here we've got the 3 Cymbidiums, the yellow one, no ID, the red one, no ID, and the one that's supposed to be copper, that's its name, as well as supposed to be its colour. And somebody's just come up with a brilliant suggestion. Why don't I take a photo of it as it is and put it in an A4 document, a Word document or something, alongside the photo that I've got last time it was in bloom when I bought it, so that they're next to each other, and take it to Mathers with me and show them. Brilliant idea. These are all Derek's plants. They're in various stages. They were all in incredibly poor condition, and most of them that are still with me, I started with 20. I think I'm down to about 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 11 left. But there are 2 that are not on this shelf elsewhere, so there's 13 out of 20 left. A couple of these are still a bit iffy, but most of them have pushed on at least 1 new growth and now have some roots. They all need repotting because they all got put in a mix with the cocoa husk, which will now be coming to the end of its life. And we're coming into the growing season, so those all need a repot. And then this thing on the floor, because it's such an awkward height, I can't find a shelf that suits it. If I put it on this, which is my lowest shelf, you know, with nothing above it, it'll still be up here. So it lives on the floor where we can at least see the blooms, and that is Dendrobium doodah infundibulum. We'll get there in a minute. And then through the window over there is an assortment of Phalaenopsis. Not all of those are mine, some of those are Hannah's. I suspect they're going to stay here anyway, but I'd like to, you to know that there are Phalaenopsis, and I think one of those should be included. Whew. Right, well that was a bit of a rush. Sad though it is, I quite enjoyed that. And as you can see, or as you can probably see, depending on how well you know the channel, there's a lot less plants. See, there was heading up towards 190 once, we're now less than 140. Minus one, probably minus another, yeah? So it doesn't end. I'm hoping that my increase in temperatures is going to slow this rate of decline down, and actually, you know, some of the plants that are starting to be a bit subject to the cold are going to sort of go back on hold and perhaps recover when the higher temperatures come a bit later. And the longer days and those temperatures should trigger growth. That's what does it, you know, that's what happens in the wild. The longer days, the increase in the daytime temperatures, and everything comes back to life. Now that's what I'm hoping to replicate here. That's the idea. Whew. Right, so that's a quick go over everything I've got. Okay, I haven't pointed at absolutely every individual plant. Like the Noblies, I've said that I've got some. And we certainly need at least one resting Dendrobium included, and a representative of the resting Dendrobiums, the Lindleyi. I'm forcing that whether you want it or not. And I would suggest we have a Nobile as well, because it's the most common Dendrobium that people have got, and it is seasonal. Yeah, so it does have distinct things that go on through the season, so it's a good one to talk about. Well, as does Lindleyi. And then obviously we'll have to get an assortment going, and I don't want to influence you any more than that. Yeah, sorry about the mix-up with the you know, choosing the plants, but that's now going to be tomorrow's video, and depending on how long it puts me together, how long it takes me to put together more coffee, it might end up getting posted on Tuesday. I don't know yet. I'll see what I can do, because you know, I do have other things to do other than videos. So we'll see how we go. But that will be the next video, will be, you know, the 15 or so plants, of which you get to choose 8, as I said. And 1 or 2 maybe, like, you're having this one, whether you want it or not, sort of thing. Mainly because I know it will have a good story through the year, so it will be worth including. So there we go then. And I don't know how long that is. Let's have a look at my camera. What does it say? How long we've been rabbiting here? Oh. Well, according to this, it's actually quite a short video for me for a Sunday, and so be it, because there isn't anything else. You know, I know sometimes I just point the camera and waffle, but I haven't even got any waffling to do today. It really is a no news day. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. Usual Sunday thank yous for the you know, for people who've stuck it out with the patron through these hard times, and a big thank you to some new ones that have joined in. Now that is a bit special, you know, given the current economic climate and all that sort of stuff, for somebody to sort of, you know, commit to doing regular monthly donations to the channel, that's a bit special. So thank you for those. The Buy Me a Coffee, again, that ticks over. Oh, I know what I must do, because Carol got caught out with this. I must warn you, and it is a warning, the merchandise that you see under the videos, you know, in the top of the description, this does not help the channel much. Basically, it might not be obvious, but if a unit, like say one of the sweatshirts, is 30 quid, I don't get 30 quid. The cost of the unit still has to come out. The company keep that. So the cost of making that and, you know, putting the logo on, the company keep that. I get between 5 and 3% of the value that you pay. So it's not very productive. You know, it's not a good way of donating some money to me. You do get the goods, you know, fair enough, but you know, out of a 30 quid sweatshirt, I'll be lucky to see a £5. So I don't get much of it, and I deliberately don't get much of it. I've tried to keep the profit margins low, otherwise nobody will buy anything, because it'll just be too expensive. It's gone up by about 60 or 70%, along with lots of other stuff in the world, I know, but that's quite dramatic for the sort of things that are on sale there. And a lot of it is transport, you know, it's actually getting the materials and getting the stuff. So, you know, anyway, that's sort of a little bit of a, if you want the merchandise, by all means go ahead, but it doesn't leave a lot for the channel. If you want to make a donation to the channel as a one-off, you're much, much better off using Buy Me a Coffee. where most of it comes to me. The company, they do take a small amount, but it is a small amount. Not like greedy YouTube, who take quite a bit from the advertisements revenue. So there we go. Patrons, thanks a bunch. And those that have subscribed, thanks a bunch for staying with the channel. And any new subscribers, great. If you're not subscribed, now's a good time to do it. It's right there under your nose. You just click on it. Click, click, click. There it goes. And don't forget the old thumbs up at the end. A lot of people don't think it makes a difference, but it does. It has a degree of influence on YouTube by indicating the popularity of the channel. You know, you get 1,000 views and 5 likes. Something not quite right there. So don't forget the old thumbs up as well. And I'll see you in the next video where we have a look at the plants. For you to help me choose the set for the project orchids. A lot of people have thought the idea is good, so you know, we'll work on that, and it will be something unusual, I think, for my channel, you know. So see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.